Ladies and gentlemen, Laurie Cardozo-Moore with Proclaiming Justice to the Nations. And I just want to give you an update on what we are busy doing at PJTN. And I know you'll want to know this because it has to do with back to school. Because we are all, some of us, I should say, still have their children in school and they are getting ready for another year. And who knows what this year is going to bring between the mask mandates that are being threatened by school districts across the country, whether it's going to be virtual classes, whether we're going to go back into the chaos of another outbreak, who knows? But I want you to know what we are doing to equip you. As you know, we started a Taking Back America's Children's campaign here at PJTN. And so we're going to spend the next few months, really the rest of this year, going into next year, because next year is an election year. So everything that we do at PJTN is focused on getting to that election day in 2022. Of course, you know we're a nonprofit. We're not going to tell you who to vote for, but we're going to educate you. We're going to equip you so you have the knowledge to be able to make an educated and informed decision as to who you're going to support. And one of the biggest, most important races that we are focused on at PJTN is our school board races. I was just reading in an article not long ago how on average these school board races are running anywhere from $50,000 to $50,000. And that just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that the powers that be that want to destroy our country and destroy our children and their future are willing to invest big bucks into who sits on the school board representing you in your community. And again, I want to reiterate, doesn't matter if you have kids in the school system or not. If you are a tax-paying citizen, you have a vested interest in the future of this republic. You have a responsibility to be informed to make sure that the kids in your local school district, in the school down the street, is teaching an accurate perspective of history. So anyhow, so that's what we're going to be involved in. And of course, it all starts with you. You are the key. And many of you who've joined PJTN, you signed up because this is where you wanted to put your time and your effort, your resources into changing the future. We've lost 3 generations, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot afford to lose another one. So that's why we're here, and I'm going to be here to help you hold your hand through the process. And of course, our team stands at the ready to assist if you have any questions or if you need help in your district. The most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is you have to be educated. You've got to be informed about what is going on. You have to read articles. You've got, in fact, every week when we send out this email, this e-blast, I'm always putting in articles that I recommend people read. We're putting little video messages out to help you so that you can share those video messages with your family and friends through social media or even your email list. But you have to know where the problem is. And so one of the things that we do at PJTN is we train parents and citizens on how to review textbooks. But you also have to let your kids know, as they're starting school, you have to be proactive. You have to tell your kids that you may encounter, content throughout the course of your day in school that is talking about maybe sex education or talking about Israel or, anything like that about America. And if you have to tell your child, if you hear something that makes you uncomfortable, I need to hear about it. You need to tell me. But parents, it also requires you to engage in conversation with your children. You need to every day ask your kids. I homeschooled my children up through middle school, and then we put them in private, either Christian schools or we put them in a public school system. But my kids were prepared and ready. And, when they came home from school after I sent them off, I would always ask them, what did you learn today? Because you're going to learn a lot. You're going to hear from your kids. You're going to learn a lot about what their day consisted of, what they learned. Did they learn something new? I always go through a series of questions with my kids. And I still do it to this day. They're all adults, but it doesn't matter because we never change. We're always going to be moms. But you need to be paying attention to the textbooks that are being used. So you need to get to know your teacher, the principal of your school board members, your superintendent of schools. You need to get access to the curriculum that is going to be used to teach your children. Just to give you an example, I had my daughter was in middle school. It was her first year in school after homeschooling. She was homeschooled through 7th grade. And so we put her in a public school here in Williamson County. And when I got her summer reading list, and you all are probably getting those summer reading lists now if you haven't already, you need to look at those summer reading lists and look for the classics, because that's what I did. When I saw the books, I saw no classics listed. So I contacted the teacher and I said, I noticed the summer reading list doesn't include any classics. This list is not suitable for my child. And so I challenged the system and asked if I could select myself. I'm, a parent. I would like to select myself for myself, or for her to read by myself, a classic. And so I chose one. The teacher agreed and approved it. And they said that they would put together a list of questions for our student, for my daughter, based on that book. So, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't just, we too often think that if we try to challenge the system, we're not going to get anywhere. If you challenge the system, you're straight out letting them know you are going to be a parent that's going to be in touch with what's going on. And it doesn't matter, even if you're a grandparent and you want to be engaged with your child through this process, you also have a responsibility in that effort as well. But the other thing that you want to look at is looking at textbooks, looking at the instructional materials being used. You want to find out from your teachers, what are you using to teach my children? Where's the syllabus for the first semester? So you can tell a lot about all of that. And all of this information has to be accessible to you. They have to be willing to give you. You need to require transparency in education, and that starts with getting access to the tools that they're going to use to teach your children. And so if you will do that straight out of the gate and ask for that information, see what the response is, you may get a little shock because teachers aren't used to this, but having come out of COVID, teachers are finding out that parents are more engaged than what they realized. So those are things you want to do. You want to look at those materials. You want to talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to other parents. I would strongly recommend starting a book club. In fact, we're going to start a book reading club through teleconference here at PJTN with parents and citizens. And we're going to start with a book called The Crimes of the Educators by Alex Newman. It's a very important book, especially for parents, especially new parents who have young children that are just going into the system. You need to know what your child is going to be subjected to for the next 12 years of their education. And you need to be engaged. The more engaged and really it's just throwing yourself into the middle of it. There's no rhyme or reason. Every school district is going to be different, just like every child is different. So I want to encourage you to maybe start book clubs and reading books like this. And if you're signed up, if you're on our mailing list, you're going to get the announcement when we're going to start this book club, this book reading club, where we're going to read together, and then we'll read a chapter once a week, and then we'll have discussion afterwards. Because I want to equip you as parents and even grandparents, and even if you don't have children in the system, I want to equip you so you will be successful when you go to these school board meetings. The other thing I want to just mention to you, as I said, you need to get to know your teacher, your principal, the superintendent of your schools, and even more importantly, you need to know your school board member. They need to know that you are interested in knowing what's happening in the schools. You want to attend the school board meetings. You want to attend the work sessions. But the most important thing that you can do before you start this process is you've got to go to your school website. You've got to go to the county website. Like, for example, we're here in Williamson County, Tennessee. So you need to go to your county school website. You need to review everything on there, become familiar with the people, all the school board members, get to know them. You also want to read their policies and procedures so that when you have a situation you need to pursue, you have the policy and procedure book so you can move through that procedure and get your concerns addressed. But that's the most important thing. And ladies and gentlemen, next week I am also going to be starting a podcast where we're going to be talking about these issues every week, breaking down specific issues with regards to taking back America's children. Again, the goal is to get to the 2022 elections. And as I said in the beginning, I can't tell you who to vote for, but I'm going to make sure you are educated and informed and you have a relationship with your school board member. And if that school board member doesn't represent your values, you need to let your neighbors know what your school board believes and what they think. Because the critical race theory, we've seen that the teachers have been very upfront and in your face, especially here in Tennessee, and we also know in Florida, where the teachers and the teachers' unions are telling the teachers, you don't have to follow the law. So you need to be the gatekeeper. You need to be standing watch. And I just want to close with the book of Ezekiel about the watchman, because that's who we are at PJTN. We are the watchmen. And if you are not paying attention, and if you don't see the enemy advancing, how are you going to warn the inhabitants? Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find me. I'm at pjtn.org. And of course, follow us on all of our social media platforms. But look forward to hearing from you. If you like this video, you found it informative, please like it, share it with your friends. Just push the button down there. And that way we can get more people engaged and involved. If you're not signed up, if you're watching this video for the first time, you're not signed up to be on PJTN's mailing list, please go to pjtn.org, sign up, get on the mailing list. We need you to help us. We need watchmen in every school district. We are going to fight this battle county by county, state by state, but it takes you doing it. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for all you do on behalf of our Jewish brethren, the state of Israel, and these United States.